The fun part of running this channel is the opportunity it gives me to rewatch old titles that I've collected over the years and haven't looked at in some time. In some cases, I'm reminded why I loved them to begin with. In others, I find new aspects to enjoy and appreciate. It's almost like reuniting with old friends after a long absence. Because I can't reunite with them for real. Because I'm locked away in here for an interminable sentence. Nevertheless, I've enjoyed the creative effort of making these videos to introduce these titles to my viewers. I may not have been active for very long this year, but here are 5 titles that were the most fun for me to rewatch. I couldn't quite decide which was the most satisfying, so I present them in no particular order. When discussing the Indiana Jones trilogy, because there are only 3 movies, a common argument is whether Raiders of the Lost Ark or The Last Crusade is the best movie. But almost everyone agrees that Temple of Doom is the weakest installment. And because I had only seen it once, and more years ago than I care to recall, I was always happy to roast its flaws like anyone else. The uselessness of Willie Scott and the wild tonal shifts being the more prominent issues. But revisiting the story with the benefit of time showed me that it was actually better than I remembered. The impressive stunt work, practical effects, and father-son dynamic between Indy and Short Round were chief among the strong points that made the movie surprisingly entertaining. And while I'm still happy to joke about its foibles, I'll also think of it with a little more fondness from here on out. I first heard about Without a Clue when I was just a child, but my first full viewing was only within the past couple of years. Rewatching it for my channel reaffirmed it in my eyes as one of those perfect examples of parody done right. It pokes fun at its source material without insulting it. It delivers both effective comedy and a compelling mystery. It's written with intelligence and respect, and it provides strong performances from talented actors. It's a joy to watch if you're even casually familiar with the Sherlock Holmes stories, but it's also written well enough to stand tall on its own merits. And every time I watch it, I appreciate it even more. The Darkstalkers OVA was just as much fun to rewatch this Halloween as it was in the early days of my anime hobby. Everything about it, the dark atmosphere, the rocking soundtrack, the sharp, darkly colored aesthetic, the cast of monstrous characters, just screamed 90s coolness. And it's even more impressive today to see the fight scenes brought to life with traditional animation. I've also found more to appreciate in the individual character arcs over the years, especially Donovan's own personal journey. This was just all around satisfying to revisit. The Sonic franchise has been near and dear to me since I was but a little Revenant. And any time I revisit the older installments, both the games and animations, is a rare chance for me to feel like a kid again. This hour-long movie managed to mix core elements of the games into its own unique world, with fast-paced action, bright, colorful aesthetics, and brilliant traditional animation in a way that stays true to the upbeat, fun tone of the franchise. And now that a wish I made in my related video seems to be coming true in the new movies, it's become even more delightful. I'll not spoil what it is, though. You have your hint. I first watched Ghost in the Shell many years ago, and while I remember enjoying it, most of the details of the plot didn't quite sink in at the time. Additionally, what I watched was the 2.0 version, so it didn't maintain the consistency of animation of the true original movie. Repeat viewings really helped me wrap my decaying brain around the story better, and the elements relating to transhumanism and artificial intelligence feel more and more topical amidst recent technological advances. And watching the original cut of the movie let me appreciate just how good the animation was. The fluidity of the action scenes and the level of detail in backgrounds and machinery hold up perfectly today. And I think this movie, more than any other, leaves me pining for the days of traditional animation. It's an impressive movie to watch, whether you're interested in anime or not. And there you have it. The 5 stories I was most pleased to pull from the vault for you this year. If you have any movies or shows of your own that never lose their luster no matter how many times you watch them, feel free to share them in the comments. I look forward to introducing more of my collection to you in the new year, and maybe finding some new treasures to explore as well. Thank you very much for watching, and have a happy new year.